Malusi, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So you're going back and forth with activists who are saying this is not allowed. What's your response?
Good afternoon, Sean, and good afternoon to your viewers. The matter is, maybe let me correct it from the onset. We are not evicting people who have been living on a site. This site has been vacant and people decided to invade it. So we have subsequently removed them from that site. They have been evicted from where they were staying before.
So you still removed people from structures they were living in? Because I saw visuals on social media of people screaming and crying while their homes were being demolished.
Those structures were unoccupied, and some of the structures were earlier erected on that day. So all those structures were removed. So none of the people were living on that particular site a night before that day.
But people moved in, they obviously built their homes there because they say they had nowhere else to go. So they were living there from that morning, right?
Remember, Shan, during lockdown, none of us are supposed to go outside and erect structures. Remember also that we have taken a decision also as a city not to proceed with any construction because the president has outlined the regulations on the lockdown. Now, it is illegal for them to get out of where they were staying and go and erect structures elsewhere.
So, Malusi, just talk to me about the humanity side of this, right? Because there are people who obviously don't have anywhere to stay. They were evicted previously, so they're trying to set up homes for them to stay during this lockdown period. And then the city goes and destroys those homes.
Well, I've got great sympathy for any person who's homeless. It's for that reason that even the city of Cape Town has taken it upon itself to provide accommodation even for homeless people in various areas. Now, it is not like we are not sympathetic to these individuals, but what is wrong is for people who are supposed to be at the points of origin to leave their homes and go and invade land and erect structures. Also, we have a court order on that particular site for it not to be invaded. So no one is allowed to erect a structure on that particular site.
So what happened to these people then? Because they obviously try to find a place to stay, but that's not going to happen there. So where are they now?
Well, before this interview, I had an engagement with some of the officials, and they've reported to me that they go back to the homes where they were staying or houses where they were staying. They only come back during early hours of the morning. And so I indicated to them that I'd like to get those individuals because it testifies what I've been saying, that these people were not originally there. Because even during the night, they're not there. They go back to their original place, which is what we've been saying, that the people who have contravened the regulations are those who evicted them, which are the landlords. So City of Cape Town has not done that. But we are in a process of engagement with the National Ministry, Minister Lindwe Sisulu, Provincial Minister Tertius Simmers, to find a solution on this particular challenge.
So, Malusi, you tweeted, right, and I'm going to read your tweet. You say these people have homes. They decided to invade land hoping to get sympathy. Some of them have houses which they are renting out. Some sold their houses. There are many people who are still waiting for homes. I cannot allow anarchy to prevail. They must go back to their houses. Do you know that for a matter of fact, that these people rented out or sold their homes?
I know that as a matter of fact. If you look into various projects that we do, I'll cite one of the projects, one of our biggest projects in the city of Cape Town is called Forest Village. What happens is that when immediately we hand over keys to individuals, what they do the next day, they advertise that on those units on social media and go back to informality. And what we have picked up is that some of the people who are residing and were trying to invade on that particular site, some of the officials identified them and realized that there are people who have benefited on our previous project. So I said we cannot allow that kind of a situation to prevail.
Yeah, you know, I find it very difficult to understand the city's thinking when it comes to this, because you yourself tweeted that, you don't have any sympathy for these people because of what they're doing. But you see the visuals that we saw this weekend of Gogos who are outside their shack screaming and crying as it's being demolished. and you wonder where they're going to sleep tonight or tomorrow night. What are you doing to make sure that these people are not on the streets?
Sean, I don't have sympathy for people who have received a housing opportunity. And what they do, instead of them staying in that house, they rent it out and go back to an informal structure. We spend more than 150,000 rands to build one structure. Now, if now they're going to go back and to informality and rent out their unit, how do you justify that we must have sympathy of those people? Because we have taken taxpayers' money to build these units, and now instead of them staying in them, they rented them out. Some even sell them. And that is the context at which I wrote that tweet. And I'm not ashamed of it, because it's something that is very wrong and very much illegal.
All right, so even if that's the case, right, and you don't know the circumstances around why these people are doing that, and the one thing that I will still not get out of my mind is these two old women, pensioners, who were out there shouting and screaming because their home was being demolished. I mean, those are the people we need to look at the special circumstances and find out why they're in that situation and where they're going to get their next meal or where they're going to sleep tonight.
People whom we prioritize on our development, it's the elderly, disabled and child-headed households. We always prioritize those people. Now, if there's any person who has not received a house previously, and that person is an elderly, we'll look into those matters. But what we cannot allow is for people who have received houses and they go and invade land with the hope of now renting out. It's wrong. Whether it's locked down or not, that particular exercise is wrong, because we utilize taxpayers' money to build these houses.
So what have you told these people, and where are they now?
Well, as I've indicated, they've gone back to their points of origin, where they were staying before the invasion. I've spoken to some of our officials. They've indicated as such. So I said what we'll do, part of the discussion that we'll be having with the National Ministry, as of tomorrow, we will bring such issues forward and be able to have a discussion and also engage the landlords, because it's important that these landlords must understand that they can't contravene the lockdown regulations and evict people, so that at the end of the day, there's some level of comfort for everyone.
So, as you say, it's of course illegal to sell RDP homes. Have you gone to court to make an example of people who are doing that to prevent more people from actually selling RDP homes?
Well, there's a sample of individuals that we are pursuing in the court of law on this matter, because we want to demonstrate to some of the court, because we have been challenged to say that we are not delivering houses to the expectations of society. And we wanted to demonstrate that we are doing our level best, and some of the people are selling those houses. And some of them are even erecting structures whom they intend to sell. This is what we normally tag as shack farming in our areas. There are people who come in, invade land in order for them to benefit out of those informal structures. A rental in Cape Town on an informal structure is on an average of about 1,000 rand. So people are making business out of this exercise.
Now, you have NGOs like Ndifuna Nkwazi who's saying that this is absolute rubbish that you're talking, that it's not the truth, and that they're going to court to challenge you. What do you have to say to that? Because they obviously have evidence that points otherwise.
We will go to court. The court date is set for Wednesday. Our legal teams are preparing papers as I speak to you. I'll be interacting with our legal team going forward. So we'll present our case.
And just for clarity, have you sought the advice of the National Command Council or the President about the demolition of these structures during this period?
As I've indicated, I've had an engagement day before yesterday and today with the National Minister. She's coming down for us to find an amicable solution to the problem. But what I've made it clear to her is that we have not evicted those people. Those people invaded land, and we had to act on land invasion.
All right, thanks for your time and your insight. Appreciate it. That was Malusi Boy, Cape Town Housing MMC.